The Spanish conquistador, known as Francisco Pizarro, was born in Trujillo, Spain, in 1478. He was the illegitimate son of Gonzalo Pizarro, a colonel in the Spanish army, and Francisca González, a maid in the Pizarro household. The Pizarros were of poor means, and young Francisco did not receive much in the way of education, never learning to read or write. At a young age, Francisco worked as a swineherd, a popular job in the Extremadura region of Spain, but he joined the Spanish army in his teenage years and served as a soldier in Italy. During his time there, he acquired a reputation as a fearless fighter who was respected by his fellow soldiers. His experience gained in the army would be invaluable for his later expeditions in the New World. In 1502, seeking wealth and adventure, Pizarro traveled to the Spanish colony of Hispaniola, known today as Haiti and the Dominican Republic. He served in the local military for a time and had little interest in living the life of a settler or farmer. Pizarro joined an expedition in 1510 to start a colony on the coast of Colombia. It was deemed a failure as the colony suffered from disease, food shortages, and attacks by hostile natives. Although it was eventually abandoned, Pizarro demonstrated his tough, measured, and resilient character as he helped the survivors to safety. In 1513, Pizarro joined the expedition of Vasco Núñez de Balboa, crossing the Isthmus of Panama and becoming the first Europeans to see the Pacific Ocean from the New World. He settled for a time in Panama, serving as the mayor and magistrate of Panama City. With the aid of a soldier, Diego de Almagro, and a Spanish priest, Hernando de Luque, the first expedition led by Pizarro took place in 1524. They traveled down the west coast of South America from Panama but only reached Colombia before turning back due to food shortages, bad weather, and hostile natives. In 1526, Pizarro, Almagro and de Luque set sail once again, to push further down the Pacific coast toward Peru. This time, the group made contact with the citizens of Tumbes, a bustling port town. It was here that they heard tales of a powerful and wealthy empire known as the Inca. Pizarro was given 2 native boys by the local citizens, who would learn Spanish and prove integral as interpreters for his later expedition. They also uncovered evidence of vast amounts of gold and silver. Upon returning to Panama, Pizarro decided to seek royal approval from King Charles V of Spain for a final expedition to conquer the Inca Empire and claim its wealth and lands in his name. In 1529, Pizarro returned to Spain and successfully gained the support of the Spanish monarch, who bestowed on him the right to become the governor of any new lands he conquered. With his royal seal of approval in hand, Pizarro sailed back to the New World and began organizing his final expedition south, into the heart of the Inca Empire. Accompanied by his 3 half-brothers and old friend Diego de Almagro, Pizarro mustered a force of around 180 men and, in 1531, sailed south from Panama, down the coast towards Peru. The Spaniards looted and pillaged at every opportunity and arrived back in Tumbes, to a very different sight. The once bustling port was now in ruins. Pizarro heard of a civil war between 2 brothers of the Inca nobility and of European diseases ravaging the population. These factors would assist the expedition greatly. Pizarro and his men traveled inland and received information that the empire was now ruled by Atahualpa, one of the 2 brothers involved in the Incan Civil War. The Spanish made contact with some Inca officials and learned of Atahualpa's presence in the town of Cajamarca. Pizarro saw an opportunity to capture the ruler and hold him for ransom, which he hoped would weaken the Inca Empire and make it easier for the Spanish to conquer. With an invitation from Atahualpa, Pizarro and his men traversed the rugged landscape of Peru and arrived in Cajamarca in late 1532. Upon arriving, Pizarro and his men found the city empty but noted Atahualpa and his 80,000-strong army were camped along the hills surrounding it. Atahualpa and 7,000 of his troops marched to the central plaza of Cajamarca to meet with Pizarro. The Inca ruler was not worried by the small Spanish force and told his troops to leave their weapons in camp. After a brief standoff in the plaza, during which a Spanish priest demanded that Atahualpa accept Christianity, Pizarro and his men attacked the defenseless Incans, slaughtering thousands and capturing the Inca ruler. With the loss of their leader, the empire fell into disarray. Atahualpa was held captive by Pizarro for several months, during which time he tried to negotiate his release. He offered to fill a room with gold and silver as ransom, and the Spanish accepted his offer. However, after Atahualpa delivered the treasure, Pizarro accused him of inciting rebellion and had him executed in 1533. Pizarro went on to conquer the Incan capital of Cusco, and established the city of Lima as the capital of the new Spanish colony of Peru. He ruled over the colony as its governor, and he became one of the richest and most powerful men in the New World. In the years following the conquest of the Inca Empire, Pizarro became embroiled in a power struggle with his former ally and fellow conquistador, Diego de Almagro. Almagro had played a significant role in the conquest of the Inca, but he felt that Pizarro had unfairly claimed too much of the spoils of war. In 1538, Almagro led a rebellion against Pizarro, but he was defeated and executed. Pizarro's victory over Almagro solidified his position as the most powerful man in Peru, but it also made him many enemies. In 1541, Pizarro was assassinated in Lima by a group of Almagro's supporters. The assassination was brutal and public, and it shocked the Spanish colonists in Peru. Pizarro's death marked the end of an era of conquest and violence in the New World, and it signaled the beginning of a new phase in Spanish colonization. Pizarro's legacy is complex and controversial. On one hand, he is recognized in history as an explorer and leader who was involved in many significant events in the New World. However, many indigenous people and others see Pizarro as a symbol of colonialism, oppression, and exploitation. Pizarro and his men killed thousands of Inca soldiers and civilians, destroyed their cities, and stole their gold and silver. Despite the controversy surrounding his legacy, there is no denying that Pizarro played a significant role in the history of South America. His conquest of the Inca Empire opened up the continent to European colonization and had a profound impact on the cultures and societies of the region. His story continues to fascinate people worldwide.